boycotted, and political pundits have said they are still licking their wounds from that boycott. In 2020, the MRC party of Professor Maurice Kamto boycotted
2018 election.
No, in 2020 local elections, the MRC boycotted.
Boycotted.
Yes, and then now we are talking of the FSNC of Issa Chiruma Bakari, saying that they will boycott local elections and parliamentary elections in 2026. I don't know, has there been any track record of successful boycotts?
We also need to ask, have there also been success in participating?
Yeah.
You know, that it has to go two way.
Yeah.
How successful has it been for parties that have been contesting? Before we start talking about those who are not succeeding. Because after the first multi-party elections that took place, and the CVDM suffered, a kind of, let me call it that it was a terrible defeat on the field by the coalition that was there at the time.
The Union for Change.
The Union for Change. That historically they caused a defect in the system in a way that they learned their lesson. From that time, they have put out mechanism and structured things within a way that the opposition will never outsmart CPDM in any election. That is just the reality about it. No matter how sweet your message is, no matter how you campaign, and no matter how the people vote, the vote are going to come out the way they want. We've had situation in this country where people are announcing on the field that in this November, where they are announcing on the field that the SDA is winning here, the number remain 14. The SDA is winning here, the number will remain 14. So it has always been, there is, so if you don't, that's why somebody was making an argument that, but why is it that in presidential election these people want to run? And the supporters will be supporting them to go in for presidential. But when it comes to parliamentary, when they themselves too are hungry to also go in, maybe for the councils and for the for parliament, they will turn around and say that no, the electoral code is not right, this is not right. It doesn't mean the electoral code is always right when they want to run. But when you look in this country, the way this country is structured, the head of state is the god of Cameroon. Everything is on his table. He has the power more than the judiciary. He has the power more than the legislature. They are just there like a figurehead. That is why you can take a case and you go into the judiciary. You can just go to court here and say that I've not been seeing the president. Maybe that because the law maybe says that okay, for this length of time you don't see the president, they show that he's incompetent and so on. As you before the judge takes the case, he already twists it. He already start calling incompetent without looking at the content because you have called the head of state. So we are in a very difficult situation where that is why they mostly run for the top job with the hope that if they get it, they will now restructure other things that it function the way it function in other countries. No matter whoever goes for this election, truth be told, they will figure out some few because they cannot grab all. It will be an abomination to our democracy. Because they want to make some resemblance of democracy, that something is happening. What will happen is that they will just pick some few places and give to the opposition and say grab their majority in parliament, grab their majority in the senate, grab their majority of council, and they have strategic councils that whatever I do they will still win. Strategic councils, especially in those places that have money, they will always win there. So we are in a situation that only God in heaven knows how he will take to rescue us. So you may not blame him. He has Issa Chiroma has been consistent on the basis that they do not. They said they won the election. That's what to him. That's what he was saying, and he said that for him to participate in the election, meaning that he's now recognizing the system in place and the kind of patronizing and saying that he legitimizing their stay in power. So for him, there will be no need running. But just to say that you should also know that it could be a political strategy. You know that there are even been plans of banning the party. So he may be saying this to deviate the authorities from the party.
Definitely.
But why you go ban somebody who already says not even going to be running for election? So why you even go to ban? So it can still be a strategy to do that. Because look at it. In most of the elections that have taken place, most of the candidates end up, Fundi was in House Arrest. Takumbos even helped him. He would have ended up in Kondenge. Maurice Kanto ended up stayed in prison for close to about 8 months. He was there in Kondenge. So he flew him out for safety.
Justice
so I think that he is somebody from the system. He has been in the CBDM for long. He has been a minister. He has been working with his colleagues who together they have been doing the dating game. So he himself knows. He himself knows what is there. So if he's saying, I don't query him, politics is all game. They best know what they are playing, and behind that we don't know. We are only saying what we are seeing in front. But he says he's not going to run because he knows that running will not change anything. When you vote, they will still select some few interior councils in the interior and give you maybe 5 of them, 6 of them. And that's what they give you. Or give you some 5 parliamentarians. And at the end, the situation will remain.
We have a caller. Hello. Hello. Yes, you are on. Hello. Okay, we lost that caller. Reverend.
Just quickly, just to conclude, to say that. So for me, it is a little bit challenging issue. Until when God will decide to rescue us as God. We have tried our best. People tried and voted in 1992. The SDF still crying today that they won, they stole it. People went and voted in 2018. They tried their best. The man cried and said they stole it. In 2025, people still went and voted. They cried that they stole it. So all is that we vote and they cried they have stolen. So does voting really matter any longer? So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know how the whole thing is going to take place. But we will keep encouraging people that just keep voting, whatever may be the case. Young people should try to get into the system. They should try, but remember that most of the people who voted for Issa Chiroma Bakari are Kamto supporters. Don't forget. Don't forget. That's why he swept the littoral, swept the west, and swept even right in the north. Because Muta, who was the first vice president and even president at the time when he had contributed to Manindem, throw his support behind the FNNC at the time. So most of those supporters were supporting him. So he too may be strategic to know that presidential elections are different from local elections. You also weigh your weight. In the local election, it's different. So in this case, he may rather go him slumber, and who knows, there may even be internal communicate that most of his militants now go through the MRC. They can sign that. They can go but through the MRC and
MRC has declared that they are going
and before you know, he rather campaigns him through the MRC and they grab the no matter they can grab. So politics is something that you cannot take everything out of the equation. But just to say that as the elections are going to come, we encourage people to prepare and go in for it. Let's get the few that we can get and manage the work and manage for the moment.
Paul, I think there's one thing I will add. Let opposition parties that are going in for local and municipal elections to ensure that they have advocated, they take this time, even if they have the few number of seats, let them advocate for the change of the electoral code. Let them advocate for amendment. You cannot give the president of the country all these powers and then when he's exercising it, you are complaining. It is still us. It is the Cameroonians that gave him all these powers. Who are those that developed the electoral code? Who are those that developed the constitution? They are still Cameroonians. So even Prof. Maurice Kamto, he was being accused at one moment by CPDM officials that you are the one who you were part of the committee that proposed the constitution of 2008 that was amended. So how can you be complaining now that the president has so much powers? Were you guys not the ones who gave him those powers? Or how much were you paid to decide to give him those powers, and then now you are complaining? So if you see somebody from within pointing fingers like that, it means that he himself is guilty at one moment. So the only thing is let them unite their forces and change the code that will definitely guarantee them to take over. Because where we stand now, following this electoral code, I think the next 20 years there's nobody that can defeat them, because they have everything well strategized.
And they know where you can
and they know the loopholes. They know the loopholes where you can also beat them. At that point, they know. But while you are beating them, they are already planning their game at the top. So
somebody just went to the Constitutional Council to complain about the incapacitation or the inability of the president to rule the country. Before the matter got to that, twisted the whole thing and thrown that they are incapable.
There's a mayor of Douala of Besen who even congratulated Chiroma on his stance, his consistency. I think he did a good job, and others were even saying that let the other mayors do same, and we are going to go somewhere. Because he said that it's very rare to see someone who was defeated and then since then he has been consistent on one and the same point. It's very difficult. So he has actually upheld democracy in Cameroon, to be honest, because looking at what we have, we are already going back to one party system.
Yeah, because, and you know it's H2, you have to pardon him. given his age, and that's what we are talking about.
Whose age is that?
I mean, Issa Chiruma.
Okay.
He too is aging, and
Yeah,
his health
he's aging.
and everything.
Yeah.
That's what we are crying, that people should be building the next generation. You can't confiscate power like this, where almost all offices are old people. Look at, now we are talking, Kabaye's degree is not in the country. He has fled out to go and get his
to
go for medical evacuation. He's there. If he's talking, we'll be drawn like okra. We need young people too. Most of them we don't even see them. So when you start having this, how are they training the next generation of politicians who will take Cameroon forward? Are they the God that will remain forever ever? So according to them, these people that stay and they die is that they committed crime to death, that came and took them. Everybody will go. They should train the next generation, prepare them for the political future of this country. And that's why I frown, Paul, when I talk about the issue of Enamdan. When they still keep sending only their children there, still keep sending only their family members there, it means that me and you will never have the opportunity to as well be servants of this in this country, to serve our nation. So it's a serious problem. And I think that at this time as Cameroonians, we should be thinking politics is not all about, dominating people, chopping money, and perpetuating, underdevelopment and unemployment, which we see. People should be looking. There should be solution givers. They should provide the solution. As we talk like this, I am weeping and crying because as a young man, I would have been happy to see more young people, struggling during this time, to see that they prepare themselves and also go into these offices and do something. But with the old guard allow them to be no, because even during after the Major National Dialogue, all these institutions that were created, is there any young man in one of them? All the old friends, we are finished.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let us look at some